Batavia was attractive to settlers because of its good farmland. The soil was rich with nutrients and the land was inexpensive. Batavia was seen by settlers as a place to fulfill their dreams as farmers, businessmen, and factory workers. In the 1800s, many businesses were started in Batavia and helped to build the city we know today. A valuable Batavia resource was the magnesia limestone in many quarries that opened in the mid-1800s. There were at least 10 limestone quarries throughout Batavia. Batavia became known as the Rock City. Ice harvesting is when many people go out on the frozen river and cut it into ice blocks. Horses were used to help mark the field. People would harvest the ice in the winter and then store the blocks in the ice houses. Ice houses are little huts that store the ice until it is sold at the beginning of spring. Levi Newton came to Batavia in 1854 after a fire had destroyed his wagon works factory in New York. He chose Batavia as his new location because the region had been a good sales area for his wagons. The Fox River was a key resource for the company as it relied on water power to operate its machinery. Shumway and Sons Foundry opened in 1872. A foundry makes metal castings. Metals are turned into parts by melting the metal, pouring it into a mold, taking out the molded material, or casting once it has cooled. This foundry produced hitching posts, flat irons, trolley car gears, and pulleys. As a growing city, Batavia also needed hotels. This hotel may have been the finest in Batavia. It was a gathering place for visitors and community members. From the balconies, guests could see across the river valley. The growing city also needed blacksmiths. In the mid-1800s, there were 15 of them. A blacksmith is a person who makes things like gates, grills, railing, light fixtures, tools, horseshoes, and cooking utensils. They heated the iron or steel and then used tools to hammer, bend, and cut the irons or steel into whatever they were making. Nels Benson's meat market was where Batavians would go to get meat, such as the poultry hanging in this picture. John M. Purdom had a shoe store at 91 Wilson Street from 1885 to 1905. John started his career as a farmer in Ohio and came to Batavia in 1884 and opened a store the next year. He invented a stool that clerks could sit on while waiting on customers. Joseph Burton sold groceries and dry goods in his store on the south side of Wilson Street by the river. Dry goods include fabric for people to use and make clothes. He also added a tailoring service later. He was born in Yorkshire, England, and came to Batavia in 1852. Milo M. Kemp owned this hardware store with his brother William E. Kemp. Later, this location became the home of Hubbard's Furniture, currently operated by our very own Mrs. Hubbard's husband. Batavia had 3 windmill factories and became known as the Windmill City across the nation. Windmills produce power when the wind rotates the arms of the windmill, called sails. The windmill at Fabian Forest Preserve was built in the mid-1800s and moved to its current location in 1914. I've told you a little bit about the history of Batavia. My name is Jackie, and this is my brother Jarek. We are the future of Batavia.